your thoughts heading into this fixture, what you think of the opposition, and what we can expect from Mamelodi Sundowns.
So thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be in this house. I want to thank very much the previous coaches to have delayed because there's no water in waterfall. So I had the pleasure to have a better shower today after the training session, so that I feel a little bit refreshed or much better now than in the morning. So thank you very much for delaying the session. So it's new competition starts for us and for everybody. So always the same expectations that are on the level of the responsibility at the same side. We believe obviously that there's a long way to go. A long way is always done with the first step, and the first step for us is Gomora, a team we had the opportunity to play recently in a friendly match. And we know that it's an opponent we have to respect in terms of making a serious approach. And for you to understand, while I'm here, my assistant coaches are working hard on not on the analysis, because the analysis was already done, but on the preparation of the match in order to understand how we have to approach it on the details, so that we can pass the proper information to the players and expect a very strong lineup from Mamelodi Sundowns in this match.
Thank you so much, Coach. We'll take questions now from the floor just by show of hands. We are still in the live section. I've noted Benjamin, but I wanted to give others a chance to. Yeah, let's go to Colin. It's the first, just in front of you. Thank you.
Colin Hans, Joseph. Coach, I'm interested in the celebration you were actually showing when you beat Skukuni at the last referee's optional time. It came at a point where it was a bit of a pressure. How do you feel now? Especially after there was a group of friends that were not singing good words about you.
Look, I've been speaking about this for 3 press conferences or 4. I think it's time to finish it. So if you don't mind, don't take me as bad behavior or not wanting to answer to your question. But there's a moment when you touch too much the thing that doesn't smell bad, it can spread the smell. So I will just skip the answer. I think we should focus on the Nedbank Cup, the competition we have to play in the good name of the competition and in the place where we are, because I think this is too much important for us to worry about Miguel Cardoso's situation or fans. The only comment that I'm gonna have on this situation has to do with obviously with the fact that coaches also have emotions. Coaches also are human beings. And when coaches want to celebrate something, it's because they feel that it's really important to do it. But there were already many moments that I didn't really celebrate it the same way. It has to do with the moment, has to do with the will to celebrate the achievement of my players, and has to do mostly with that, being part of the people that on that moment were so committed with achieving a result. From the fans to the players, in, out of the pitch, and to the coaches. It's just that.
Thank you very much, Coach. Can we move on to Nedbank Cup questions, please? Okay, Benji, I did skip you, so we'll give you the opportunity. Potato, I've also noted you.
Coach, I don't know, the mic is not working, but you hear me.
I hear
We must switch it on. We must switch it on.
It's one thing we don't have such mics, we have the ones like you're having there. Benjamin Urenda is what we can use. Coach, to the Nedbank coach, it's one of the cups that has eluded the team, that has eluded the club. The club has been winning the league for 8 consecutive seasons, but cups have been eluded. Does it come with pressure to say, let's say another cup, which is not the league?
Thank you very much. I think that question is obviously a very important one. I think this team has indeed had some issues in terms of managing some, not the cups, but some of the moments that are related with cups. Mostly when they have a result, the team has a certain tendency to drop and wait, try to hold the result, something that we need to change as a mindset. It's something that we spoke already inside the club. I just want to remind that, don't take me wrong, because I don't like to complain, but I would like to remind that last year on this competition, we were playing the course of final against Sikune in Loftus, and on the 98th minute of the match, that then we won in the extra time, we scored a goal that was given an offside on Peter Shaolili, that was a legal goal. And I also want to remember that on the semi-final, on the home match against Kaiser Chiefs, the second goal is an offside with almost 1 meter. So the team could have been done better in the recent past. But the past is the past. We don't relate with the past, and also we don't relate with errors because no one has the intentionality to make a mistake. Neither us, neither the players, neither the referees, no one. So what I want to highlight is that we understand the responsibility and don't need to more than just look left and understand the symbol and the pleasure that may be to lift a treasure, a trophy like that one. So our approach on the competition will be obviously even after we could not in this season make to any final on the previous cups, obviously that we will have to have a special energy and a special pleasure and a special intention to play this one. That is the words I already had with my players, and we need to relate with this competition in a very serious way and do our best to arrive in the decisive moments. But to arrive there, it's first one is Gomora, and as I said, it's a very important match because despite we're gonna play Champions League in the weekend, this match is for us in the moment much more important than that one because it's the next one. And to arrive forward in good condition, you need to go through this one in also good condition in the right way. So that's for my part a very serious commitment with the preparation of this match. And I will said, and I will repeat, expect a very strong lineup from Mamelodi Sundowns. Because whoever I would put to play, it would always be a very strong lineup. And that is also the message I put it in the locker room today, and that my players are going to take for the match, for sure.
Thank you. Because the mic is already there, Temba. I've noted other hands.
Joseph from Sports Coach, you're coming up against a team that has got young, unknown players. How deep have you gone with your analysis in terms of your technical team, looking into what you are facing and how important it is to go there knowing very well that any wrong move, these younger guys who are hungrier than probably your players will cause an upset for you?
I agree with almost everything you said. Just don't agree with your last question where you said that the younger guys from the opponent are hungrier than my players. That's exactly the mistake that, if it happens, can take out what is theoretically on our side. Because theoretically, we should be better than Gomora. But if we don't take ourselves in the limit, this theoretically doesn't exist because that theory stays on the books and doesn't go inside 4 lines to play a football match. As I told you, we played against this team, and we did it with 2 teams. Basically, it was a day that we had in Club Cup 2 teams that we invited to play 2 friendly matches. So we splitted our team, one team one side and the other. At halftime, we changed the teams so that we had a double challenge in terms of tactical approach. And the first match at halftime, we had a positive result. And then when we swapped the teams, the second team didn't start good. And I remember I was walking from one pitch to the other, and when I arrived to see that side, I just watched a goal from Gomora. And then in the end, the boys made their job and they changed the result. It means that we need to really be committed with what we do on this match. So we should focus on ourselves in the right way, but to take the right mindset inside the pitch. And for that, we made a deep analysis on the opponent, exactly like if we were preparing a Champions League match. So tomorrow, and we decided to make it just tomorrow afternoon upon arrival in the hotel, we'll make our usual opponent analysis meeting, so that we can present obviously the tactical approach and how is this team and what they can do and how we see the match from our side. Obviously that we will prepare that also through the training session tomorrow. And on the following day, for sure, there will be a very detailed meeting on everything that has to do with set pieces. And then there's the last meeting that I usually do before leaving the hotel, where I take the detail, really on the detail. And the approach, believe me, it will be exactly the same as it is from Champions League match. There's no difference. That is the respect that I need to give the players from Mamelodi Sundowns that are going to start that match, so that they feel they understand everything that the opponent can do, how they can aggress us, what kind of things they have to take inside, and only by a serious approach of a coach can happen a serious approach from the players. Because the worst thing that can happen is arriving the end of a match like that, and if it doesn't go the way you think it should have gone, that you feel yourself that you were also the one that didn't create the proper attitude in yourself, so that the boys understand what kind of game they are playing, and that will not happen. That will not happen. So we'll be together in preparing the match in a very serious way, for sure.
Thank you, Coach Mazola.
Coach.
Oh, you're already back? Huh? Okay.
Just doesn't know how to switch on the mic.
It's not normal in Morocco, the mics are different, you know.
Coach, I wanted to ask maybe just a bit of a injury update if you have, and on that note, we've seen 2 of your 3 January signings already play, Brian and Damani, starting a Champions League game suggests there's a lot of trust there as well, and Saleh, just how far he is from being part of the group.
Thank you very much. You remember, so basically, there are always small things on teams after matches, but those ones I think are not important because they don't take players out of matches. They may demand from us some management on some training session to avoid overloads. Even sometimes we can decide to skip a player in one match, not because he's injured, but because we are afraid that he may get injured and then we manage, but those things are not important for here. What is important is the ones that are really injured, and I can go on them, of course, starting from Rowan. Rowan had a small thing on one of the adductors. It's not a muscular injury, it's more a syndrome, what means that it's not a long thing. We hope to have him back as quick as possible. Let's see if he can make it up to the weekend. That's what we are trying to work on. Obviously, that being a player as important as he is for us, not only because he's one of our captains, and when Kemba is not on the pitch, he's the one that takes the responsibility, but also by what he means, of course, as a player. And we should just go back on the press conference from the coach of Al Hilal, how he prepared the match in a different way, just because the characteristics of our goalkeepers are all different, and that allows also different approaches. But for sure, soon he'll be back. Dennis also had a small thing, but he will be probably also ready for this match, and we trust him so much. Regarding Motobi Mabala, he's a player that comes, as you know, from a surgery on the knee. He had made a conservative treatment on the knee that allowed him in the last part of last season to already start to be with us in the beginning of this season. But unfortunately, we had to go back on the surgery. And he's also on the last stages, let's say. It was not a big surgery. Well, surgery was big, but this question there was not that big. So we believe in 2-3 weeks, he may be starting to train normal with the team. Besides the 2 of them, we have obviously the question of Saleng. We have Zuko. Zuko had, unfortunately, in one training session, a muscular injury. It's not a big thing, but it's it's something that will take him out of our work for maybe 1 month, something around that. And Saling has recovered very positively. If you remember when I spoke about Saling, I told in a very negative approach, probably we may have Saling out for 2 months. Because I also wanted to take out some pressure from his recovery and from himself. I believe that it will probably not be necessary all that time for him eventually to be training normal. Then we need to understand from him if he's already feeling himself physically and fitness wise capable to help the team. Make him understand, of course, a few details from what we want from him, and then understand when the moment to allow him to be capable to perform. Obviously, that his situation is different from the one that came from Damane. Damane came from the World Cup in a very emotional, good position for a young player to be part of an AFCON squad. It's obviously very positive, and of course, he also worked with several of our players in the AFCON, what allowed him also to be a little bit more comfortable inside our group. And Brian arrived in a good position because he didn't stop a lot on the preseason there. So he had played a match after Christmas, even a full match. He was fitness condition was very good, so we felt that he could be lined up. And I think basically those are the issues we have in the moment. Besides that, just small questions that are manageable in the normal daily life of a football team.
Okay, colleagues, we've had 18 minutes of the live section, so I'm moving on to embargo. Hence, for the embargo section.
I already had my shower, so it's okay.
Okay. So let's start with Nick, and then we'll move on to Jabulo. I've noted Maskepe as well.
Good afternoon,
And
Coach.
Sapan.
Good afternoon, Coach Nick Leeson for Backpage Media. We've seen quite a lot of youngsters in your lineups recently. Obviously, Tato Spear getting regular game time of late. We've also seen this season Betlaku, Bennett Mokwena, and we also had Gomora United and Kulise on the bench for your last game. How do you balance kind of the promotion of young players and fostering their development and giving them first team game time? How do you balance that with an already large squad and getting games out to your new assignments as well?
Yeah, I think that I have a very tough job indeed, very, very tough. Sometimes it's so easy for people that look from the outside. It seems that there's a coach on every fan of football. There's a coach on I'm not criticizing yourselves. On everybody that speaks about South African football, and there's a coach on. And most of the people that are not aware of all the information that I have gathered and that I have available so that I make my decisions. Because sometimes these kind of small things that I spoke now on the answer to your question, are the ones that take a player out of a match or first 11 on a match and make me believe that he's better on the following one and not on this one. So sometimes even some of the options of the coach are done in order to manage the moments of the different players. It's very easy to be seated on the sofa and tell, I want this, and this one to play, and they are even injured. I saw some things because sometimes my assistants, they joke with some of the things they read. And I saw people asking Mabala, why Mabala is not playing? The coach doesn't like Mabala. And Mabala, unfortunately, is not available for the coach even to think on him. Look, my job is very difficult, indeed, because I have to manage not only... in some positions, it's really tough. I want you to think with me, now Tiwani went for Stellis, but before we had Fawaz, international player, Aubrey Modiba, international player, Divine Lunga, international player. A boy with so much aspirations as Tiwani that comes from playing a World Cup, not as a left back, but as a center back, but he played for us a lot as a left back. And still we have Tato, that is also a player that on the World Cup played on the left back position. And of course there are sometimes moments of opportunity. And Tato gathered not only conditions on himself, but also he profited from an opportunity. Aubrey Modiba joined us later, coming from the AFCON. Divine also joined us later, coming from the AFCON. So we knew that Tiwani had aspirations to go to play systematically. So we were looking for a situation of a loan on him. And then we had Fawaz and Tato. And Tato, but also Fawaz. But Tato made a very good preseason. It came from the tournament that we played in Botswana before we went on Christmas break. And we thought it was time, so there were conditions gathered to give him opportunity. Of course, it's not easy to take that decision. I don't regret, even if here and then, of course, like a young player, the responsibility may be too much. But I think he gave in average and overall a good answer. It doesn't mean that he's now going to be always lined up on the team, of course. But he brought even more headaches on the coach because it's one more option. It's a position where my job is very tough, very, very tough. We had the chance to substitute and play Divine on Sekukune, and he entered well on the match. Very tough. But if we go more and deep more on the analysis of the squad of Mamelodi Sundowns, and we look for the strikers for the position 9, oh my God, it's very tough. I'm not in an easy and very comfortable position. Having Peter Shalulile, having Ike Morainers, having Lebo Motiva, 3 players that have expectations, 2 of them for the World Cup. One that is also an international player and has how much prestige and capacity, and he's always working very serious, is Peter. And still, after all the 3 of them, I have a player that arrives and shows capacity to play also in this team, that is Brian. So a team that usually plays with 1 striker, despite in the previous 2 matches have played with 2, is problems. It's problems for a coach. So I count on the understanding of my players of the situation we live. Because if we go through the midfielders, it's similar. Through the center backs, it's similar. So this team needs to believe that there are no first 11 players. There's starters, there's finishers, and players that still have to be ready for the next match. That's why I told you that I'm sure that the team that's going to play Gomora will be a very strong team. At least on the names, I just hope they become really strong when they dress the shirt and go inside, understanding the importance of the game, and they play a very strong match. But believe me, guys, my difficulty in this moment is really convince my players that even not playing 1 match, or even 2, that they are as much important as the 2 ones that played. It's really a matter of creating that trust. But in a year that has a World Cup in the end of the season, this is not easy. Imagine an Albas that until this moment, from the 4 matches we didn't play, he didn't line up 1 single minute. And he comes from making a very good AFCON. And he wants to go to the World Cup for sure. How I need to create on these boys the understanding that there will be the moment they will become important. And they will be ready for the World Cup, because I will take care of them in the proper time. So it's really a matter of trust. But anyway, the day before yesterday, when we arrived from Rwanda, I had a talk with the boys, and I told them, look, do you know how many days have passed since we played the Orbit up until the day we played Al Hilal in Rwanda? 12 days. And 12 days don't make a life of no one. 12 days don't make a life of no one. So no player should believe that even not playing in 12 days, his life is not done. It's a lot to go. And this is the belief I want to bring inside the locker room. It's the trust I want to bring inside the locker rooms. For that, I need to communicate a lot with the players. I need to tell them on the eyes, please trust. Don't let yourself go down. And unfortunately, I was about to say unfortunately, because it really makes my job difficult or more difficult. But I have to say fortunately. You saw how Pitsu and Jaden played in the middle together with Miguel on the match in Sekukune. So then, of course, they feel entitled to believe they can play any match. And it's obviously they can. But still there's Alba, still there's Marcelo, still there's Tagoro. And only if they are up to the challenge of respecting that they may not play 1 match, 2 matches, but they might be the most important player on the third or on the fourth. Only like that things will happen positively for the team. I just want to finish your question or your point by saying that Peter didn't play the first 2 matches. Peter didn't play the first 2 matches, 0 minutes, not even on the bench. He was on the bench in Sekukune, he entered, and he was a life changer. He entered in the match in Rwanda, and he could have been a life changer. By details, we didn't score a second goal. That was a shot from him, and it would really be a life changer. And that's what I want the players to believe: is that I trust them. I trust them, and I love them always.
Right, Jabono.
Javelin from News 24. Coach, what has contributed in this team taking it easy or sort of getting comfortable when they take a lead or sort of seemingly in controlling the game? And what will it take for Sundowns to be as ruthless as they've been in the past in terms of when they see opponents there for the taking, that they actually take those opportunities?
I think there has been an increasing pressure on this team, especially regarding the Champions League and also the cups. If you think about your questions on all conferences of Champions League, before and after, from you and from even when we go abroad, like now in Rwanda or before in Nigeria, there's always the question. The other day we had a chance to cross with Robert Morava, and the first question he made to me was, when are you going to put the second star on your badge? So what I think is that there's an increased permanent pressure on my players regarding Champions League trophy and regarding the cups. And that, as much as you may think that they are professional, they are experienced, and they should deal with it, it's not that simple, because in the end we are all human beings. And I think I never relate with this publicly, but I can do it today. I have no problems, because I already spoke inside the club. When we played the first Champions League match home, that week was one of the most difficult weeks I had to deal with. One of the most difficult weeks. And I felt, and I said it before the match, that I was thinking that we were not doing the right things. Because instead of releasing the pressure, everything had to do with increasing the pressure of